Hey everyone, it's Dawn here. This is my last attempt to try and save this video. So yesterday I tried to make a video about the Commander Mini. That is Marty's personal Commander Mini that he got from Lem with EUC Ungerground. And he got that from Lem as a demo test unit. And he fell in love with it so much that he bought it for his own. Then Marty got injured and broke his leg, and he's not able to ride, and so he offered it up to me to play around with, unlimited wise. Big thanks to Marty and Lem for this opportunity. They are wonderful. Anyways, all right, so I was gonna do a review, and so I took it to GMR yesterday, and everything that could possibly go wrong pretty much did, and I lost almost everything. I have about 30% of ride footage left, and that is with just the stock Insta360 sound. So I'd recommend that you actually, once it switches over to the ride footage, just turn off the sound and put your favorite music on, because you're not going to be able to hear anything else. I was hoping you'd be able to at least hear the beeps, but I don't even think you can hear that, so it's kind of useless. But don't get mad. It's like things are really rough in my life right now, and I am a hot mess. But this video was just like destined not to be. But as a last-ditch attempt effort to save it, I'm recording this now, explaining the whole story to you guys. So, the Commander Mini, what do I think of it? It is a 16-inch wheel, my first 16-inch wheel that I've ever ridden, and I think that I like bigger wheels. I don't think I'm a 16-inch wheel girl. So the 16-inch, I was getting a lot of wobbles. A lot of the wobbles, I was chalking it up to, it's a smaller wheel. It's got a street tire on it. Street tires tend to be a little more wobbly than the knobbies, and I had my PSI set at 34 PSI. I usually have my pressure set at 36, but for some reason I felt like, maybe I want a little bit lower for this one. Marty seemed to have it set at 30, and that might even be better. So if I was to play around with this more, actually today I might drop it down and play with a lower pressure for this wheel, because of the street tire, because of the 16-inch, and stuff like that. And then I'm not used to it, and it was my first time riding the wheel yesterday, and I just took it straight to GMR and started trying to beat my times there, the times that I set on the EX30. So it is definitely not an EX30. It is definitely not a master. I know a lot of people keep referring to it as a mini master, and I think they're saying that because it is a 2400 watt hour wheel, and the same motor as the master, I believe, but it's not as fast as the master. My top speed on it was 50 miles an hour at 86% PWM, so I had a little bit more to go, and I felt like, and that is wheel speed. GPS speed was about 44 miles an hour. I felt like it was rock solid stable at that. Like I could hang out at 44 and be fine. The beeps were right there. It was safe, and right now it is set at level. Usually I like -1 or -2, the downward angle at the front. And right now this one was level. So at level, I just feel like it's a little bit harder to accelerate. I would drop it down -1, and then -2, and play around with that for easier acceleration. But it is zippy, it is nimble, it is smaller, like shorter wise and height wise. So it's smaller. I feel like this is a great wheel for like a city, running around, commuting in the city, something that you need a small wheel but really capable, like from 0 to 45, very safe, very easy to just, go in that range and have all that power and have great battery range. The other great thing about it is that you can charge this at 12 amps. So up to about 90%. And then at 90%, it stopped charging at 12 amps. And then and I'm using the Roger charger. And so then I had to drop it down to 10 amps. Still having camera issues. All right, let's see if we can get through this. So I had to drop it down to 10 amps for the remaining charge, but to be able to charge from, at 12 amps, 10 amps, that's like super fast. And so now I kind of want to be able to charge that fast for my wheels, because this is the first time I've had a wheel in my possession that can charge at 12. So Roger does something with the power distribution board, I think, where he can make a Master EX30 and Master Pro, I think, charge at whatever you want. And I think Marty did that, took him up on that, and has that mod done on one of his wheels. So I am seriously considering it, because being able to charge that fast is so great. It means that if this was a city errand wheel, something like that, then I mean, you can zip around everywhere and then, plug it in, and the charge matters. And you can hang out for an hour, then you're good to go. Hang out for half an hour, you're really good to go. So I really like that faster charging. But let's see. Okay, so the charging, it was good. I got a lot of wobbles, which I didn't like. The suspension is good, hydraulic suspension. It's on the sides like the Commander Pro and all that. There's little knobs on the top that you can turn. It was easy to adjust on the fly, on the go, on the road, and I had it set to where I liked it. So I think the suspension is good. We'll have more suspension testing when we do some off-roading with it. Let's see, the pedals are good. I've said before, my Commander Pro review, whatever, that video, those pedals are the ones that I like. Of all the stock pedals, those are the only stock pedals that I like. I don't like it as much as my Atom G pedals. Those are still my pedals of choice, but the second and probably only other choice that I would consider are these ones. I don't feel like I would have to change them out at all, because the body is so short on this thing. It's hard to place your pads. I think placing your pads, a lot of the pads are like halfway off of the wheel, and so I am using my Kydex sheets, and that is a 12 by 16 inch sheet, and I stuck that on there. I pulled it, that's the one that I had on my EX30 forever, pulled it off of the EX30, slapped it on this one. I have the Clark Titan pads on it, and it works perfectly like that. And it is longer than needed, so I can cut that down if I wanted to, but this isn't my wheel to keep, so I'd rather just leave my Kydex intact, because I don't know what's the next wheel I'll throw it onto. Having all the handles everywhere is great. The smaller size is great if you have a smaller car, you have a small apartment, you live in a van, the van life, or I don't know, anything where you would need a smaller wheel that is super capable, I think is awesome. But for me, canyon carving and stuff like that, I don't think it's a replacement personally for my type of riding. I still prefer my Master and my EX30. But I can definitely find it. If this was my wheel, this would be my little errand wheel going around town, stuff like that, because it doesn't take up a lot of space. It's kind of it's less in your face than the Master and the EX30, and I don't know, I like that. Scootering on it is uncomfortable. It's uncomfortable to sit on. I find that it rubs me wrong, but yeah, it's not comfy, but just need a simple pad that's softer on top would be good. It was hard for me to carve in the canyons because of the smaller size. I felt like, it's more narrow and it's shorter than my EX30, and I have gotten used to my EX30. I love having that big wheel between my legs where I can really hang off of it on both sides and really feel like I can throw it around. This one, when you watch the video, so I'm watching my videos and I'm going, it looks kind of crazy that I would trust to throw myself off of this little tiny wheel. I mean, it's doing it, it's holding me and all that, but it just, to me, it looks crazy that I would trust to do that on this little wheel. I feel like I would feel much more comfortable, much safer doing it on a bigger wheel, but it was doing it. So, and no doubt with more practice and time on the wheel, then I would be able to figure out the wobble issue and stuff like that. The wobble issue isn't an issue with the wheel. I mean, other than inherently a 16-inch wheel, right? It's going to be a little more but I think it's all stuff that you could overcome with time and practice and experience. The tail light is great, super bright, super flashy. Purpose of the tail light is to gain attention so you don't get run over. I get rear-ended a lot, something in my karma apparently. So I really like that this tail light is nice and bright. I haven't tested out the headlight yet. I haven't done a night ride. I've only done one ride, but I am planning to do a night ride, and I'm planning to test out that the headlight. And in Marty's video, he said that he likes the headlight, that even though it doesn't seem too bright because it has a yellow cast to it, yellowish tinge cast to it, it doesn't seem too bright, but he said, but when he pulled out his flashlight and turned it on, it didn't seem to add that much to it. So it is bright enough, but I have the best flashlight in the world. It was recommended to me a while ago by Lem, and that flashlight is the best. And I just because Marty said that, I want to go out there and show the difference between my flashlight and this headlight. Any headlight, I think my flashlight will beat. But it is good that it has a good headlight on it, and that it is adjustable. I talked about the seat not being comfortable. I think everyone can agree that the trolley handle is just really flimsy looking. Like everything else, the build quality and the metal and all that looks so great and feels so great and solid on this wheel. And then you pull up the trolley handle, you're like, it feels so out of place. It feels like they literally had, at the end of the day, they had nothing more to give, and they're like, just slap that thing on and call it a day, we're done, sort of thing. But everything else, the display and all that stuff is great. I could set it up with my darkness spots, set up the PWMs, obviously. The beeps are good and solid. They're there and safe and reliable. Let's see, what else is there to go over? All the handles are great. I like having a kickstand. Now that I'm so used to my Master and my EX30, and they both have kickstands, I like it tilted at an angle for charging. This one you have to lay it all the way on its face to charge, and that's just a little, but that's just another little nitpicky thing. And I bet someone could 3D print designs a nice little kickstand for it. So here is the Commander Mini. I'm sure you guys have already seen it. The good pedals. I have my tether on it, lots of place to attach the tether at. Good display. That's readable. This foam thing, it's just held on by double-sided tape, and there's a little tab in here, and all you do is pull this out. Come on. And there is the adjustment for the suspension, but just double-sided tape, tuck this back in and down. But this is uncomfortable to me, sitting on this. Even though it's very padded, very paddy, but I don't know, this is uncomfortable. Underground street tire. All right, so this is the Kydex sheet. It's ABS plastic. If this was my wheel and this was going to be a permanent setup, then I would cut it down so that you wouldn't have all of this extra space. You can see down here where the body is and where Marty's Velcro hook and loop is on there. So it doesn't have to be this much, right? But this is enough for me to have my pads on comfortably and not have it hanging off of the body of the wheel. So yeah, I could cut that off, but it's not my wheel.
And so it's not going to be on there permanently, so I'm not going to do it, and it doesn't bother me. It does stick out and all that, but it's not a permanent setup, yeah? But you can get this. It is on my Amazon storefront, and cut it down to whatever size you want, and you can shape it and everything so that, you know, it looks nice and all that. I like this. And then the nice thing is it's just held on by Velcro, hook and loop. So I can literally tear this off with the pads on there and slap it onto another wheel, not have to change my pad position. I know, ignore this. I have to cut this down a little bit more. But these are the little knobbies things that you set it down onto its face, and then he's good to go. So anyways, that is all I've got for this video. I'm gonna try Fullerton Loop, do some dirt, try a night ride, try other little things with this wheel, but it's a great solid wheel. Probably not something that I would fall in love with, just because I still am in love with my master, my EX30. And I don't seem to have much use for this type of wheel, and I don't think I like 16-inch wheels, but it is a great wheel. The quality with the Extreme Bowl has come up tremendously, and the features and all that is great, other than the super puny and short flimsy trolley handle that really doesn't seem like it's good enough for this much. Definitely use Law's input where he was saying, don't try to twist this to make it go. Instead, make it fall in to go. So, you know, work with the wheel. But there you go. Thanks for joining me, and enjoy the rest of the video. It is going to just be footage of me riding with lots of wind noise and not a lot of talking of real use. So feel free for this next section to mute it, turn on your favorite music, and enjoy the footage. There is a spot where I do show one of my wobbles that I had on it, so you can see what that looks like. It is not the worst wobble, but it wasn't the lightest one either. But it is impressive how much I can throw this thing around in the turns and all that, and at the speeds that we were going for such a little wheel. So I do have to say that I am impressed by it. All right, there you go. Thanks for joining me, and I will talk to you guys later. Bye. Sorry, it's so hot. Okay, so max speed was 49.4. Max PWM was 86%. That is into my second level beeps. So this is not as fast as the master. Let's see, go back. I am at 29% battery at 115 volts, and 100 volts is supposed to be dead. Temperature's 35 degrees Celsius. Alright, let's see, I think I was here for about an hour, and got it charged from, what was my voltage when I got here? I don't remember, whatever I said in the video, but he is now at, I don't remember that. Wait, he's at 131 volts, 94% is what Darkness Spot is saying. I was able to charge at 12 amps up until he got to 130 volts, or, well, according to the charger, it says 130